Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Blumenthal. Thank you for continuing your work and leadership to bring witnesses before this committee that can provide us real answers. I know that members of this committee take this very seriously and are hard at work to provide more structured safeguards for our Olympic athletes. And then to the survivors in this room, I want to personally thank those who have stood together to present an image for the world and are standing up and telling their story. I know it's not easy, but you are athletes with unimaginable strength and courage, and I thank you for everything you do every day, for using your voices. As elected leaders, we must remain committed to our obligation to demand reforms and provide for real, thoughtful solutions that will make positive change. I remain committed to working with my colleagues, survivors, advocacy groups, and many others to make fundamental changes to the governance and oversight of amateur sport in this country. And so, Ms. Lyons, let me start with you, and I want to follow up in a conversation with the chair that you started with regarding the ban list. Can I ask you, what are the consequences that the USOC outlines if a member club hires a coach or an individual on the banned list?
That's an excellent question. To my knowledge, we at the USOC do not have anything that is written as to what would happen if an outside club hired someone on the ban list. Typically, the USOC is not aware of which coaches are at which clubs. That's generally something that the NGBs are much more aware of, but I think you point out a structural issue that is something that we should look at.
Mm-hmm. So, Ms. Perry, let me ask you this. What actions is USA Gymnastics taking to identify and remove coaches, athlete directors, employees, and officials who witnessed emotional and physical abuse of athletes and did not report child abuse to the authorities and did nothing to stop it?
So we have made both our permanently ineligible list and our suspension list public on our website. There are several ways that we communicate that information out. Of course, we provide notice to the adverse party, and we provide notice to the club owners, and we also ask the club owner to provide notice to the membership there in their club area. And so
let me ask you this. So you are actually taking action to identify and remove coaches, athlete directors, employees, and officials who witnessed emotional and physical abuse of these athletes and did not report the child abuse to authorities?
As long as we have a report and we're made aware of it, we are going to follow our safe sport policy and our bylaws, which allows us to take action. And again, depending on the nature of the misconduct, if it's sexual misconduct, that goes to the center. If it's non-sexual misconduct, that stays presently with the national governing body. And so we have specific processes that we follow. Some of that, of course, is governed by not only our bylaws and our safe sport policy, but by the Ted Stevens Act. And so we follow all of those processes to find at the end of a hearing panel, for example, what their decision is. And based on their decision in that hearing panel, the action is taken.
So are you currently taking any actions to identify and remove current employees who knew about the sexual abuse and didn't do anything to report it but stayed silent?
Did you say current employees? Mm-hmm. So right now, we are going through an independent investigation, the ropes in gray. And that information, I think, is not only critical for this body and all of the investigations that are going on, but it's very critical for us because it's important that we learn the facts around this. And so, you know, if there are
all right, so let me stop you there.
Sure.
I appreciate the filibuster, but I've only got 5 minutes, and we'll follow up with you. In the testimony offered by Mr. Rick Adams of the USOC in March of 2017, he testified that there was, quote, an environment that discouraged victims from reporting abuse, unquote, at NGBs, including the USAG. Do you agree with Mr. Adams' assessment of the culture at USA Gymnastics prior to your tenure?
Senator, I saw immediately that we had to become an athlete-centric organization.
Does that mean yes?
I saw immediately that this organization and probably very much other organizations need to focus their priorities on the safety of the athletes.
So and let me ask, is it Mr. Shao? Shao? Thank you very much. You've heard the opening statements of the individuals that are on the panel with you. Let me ask you this. Is there anything that they have said that satisfies your concern that structural change is going to occur?
I think that we're engaging in this process in good faith from the Athletes Advisory Council, and we'll continue to provide our suggestions for structural changes. But in the end, as I said in my testimony, I do think that we've done this before. I think we've done independent commissions, we've done sweeping governance changes, we've done the Tagliabue Commission not too long ago, and here we are today. And
That's
so,
my concern. So did you hear anything different today that's going to change your mind, make your, or at least satisfy concerns that changes?
Personally, I don't think so. I think that it's not a failing necessarily even of the organization. I think it's a failing of the entire system, the way it's set up.
Thank you. I know my time has run out. Thank you.